Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my studio and I'm very excited to say hello to my guests. They are the hosts of a new podcast, Pop Culture Moms. It is cookbook author, recipe tester, writer, Andie Mitchell, and Good Morning America producer, Sabrina Kohlberg. Hello. Welcome.
Hi, Allison. Oh my God. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you for coming on. Also joining us is the one and only Tony Thaxton.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Now, full disclosure, because I am someone who has to make I'm duty bound to make a full disclosure. We are on Zoom, and people who've been listening for any amount of who listened to us through the pandemic will know Tony got to a point where he was offering me $40,000 per episode. Oh, I didn't forget to record in person. So the fact that I was willing to basically spend $40,000 to meet with you guys over Zoom shows how much I wanted to have you on the show.
You know what? Honestly, Sabrina, we should cover that cost. We should have to cover that cost.
I wish I could.
Because, yes, I do recall when Tony said that. I thought it was a big sum. But you seemed serious, so I said, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I was always saying, like, I know it sounds like a lot, but you don't as the listener, you don't really understand, like, what goes into all this. This is kind of like a me, Tony thing, so I don't need your opinions. Don't worry. I promise I'm not exploiting him. This just makes sense on, like, a bottom line level, and it felt good for him, right, Tony?
Oh, just the best. Yeah, of course.
I mean, think about how this feels for you right now. Wouldn't you gladly spend $40,000 to not be on Zoom?
To just get away from all of this.
I might bump it up to 80.
Oh my God. Thank you guys.
And this is coming from Tony. Are you a gold selling, not yet platinum, gold selling album? What is the credential that you are so esteemed with? I have to tell Sabrina.
So I play in a band. We have, yes, it's called Motion City Soundtrack, and we have a gold single from several years ago, and then now I just found out that the record that that song was on, the record is also gone gold now.
My God.
So,
you know what I mean? So that's the kind of person who's like, I will pay you $40,000 to get away from this.
And then I like to pretend that his gold record is not real. This is something that amuses me immensely. Makes me sound like kind of a mean person. But Tony, do we have a drop of Joe saying your gold record's not real?
No.
We don't. Okay. Well, there's a guest who comes on who will put on, I don't know why he puts on a British accent, but it makes it all the more funny because they'll be like, your gold record's fake, Tony. Okay. So the two of you have been best friends for years and years, right? Tell me how you met, and then tell me about why you decided you wanted to do a show about motherhood and pop culture and motherhood through the lens of pop culture.
Yeah. So Sabrina, you want to tell it?
I'll tell how we met, and then you can tell about the show because it was all you. We met our freshman year of college. I think the first day, it might have been the second. I was, I didn't know anyone. Andie had gone with her sister to college. They were like roommates, her and her stepsister. So she had like a friend, and I was kind of desperate for a friend, and I was walking around that first day, and a boy who was on the same floor as us in our dorm was like, hey, I'm going to a party. Come with me. And it was in Andie's room. And that boy is her husband now.
That's my Daniel. Yeah. That's my Daniel.
She has her own Daniel. I also have a Daniel.
It's like, it's wild. Yeah. So we've been really inseparable ever since. And I think that's just like we've lived together in New York City for a couple of years. And we've, I've lived a bunch of different cities in the US at least, and we've always like maintained the friendship. So which just because it's very easy. It's like sometimes you just have friendships that are so natural and like the bond just even if there's times when you don't talk for like a few weeks, it's fine. It's all like very, very close and comfortable. So we talked even more after we had kids. So I was the first to have kids. I have a 3 and a 5-year-old, and Sabrina has a 2 and a 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old. And I think
I have a 5 and 7-year-old. I should be the third in this friendship.
I know.
Because we got all the ages covered.
Please, please.
Okay.
Because it's like, I think parenthood is the greatest, like, if you know, you know, IYK. Like, until you can even imagine it as like one thing, but it's like until you're in it, it's hard to imagine how potentially isolating it feels because of all the expectations on yourself and, you know, from society. So I think we really bonded, especially after having kids. And we talked. I mean, it was the pandemic, so it was perfect. So Sabrina was working from home. I always work from home. So we would just talk every day. I mean, we're on the phone. Like it's a bygone era. But
it's
like,
an old school friendship. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Now, are you on landlines? Are you on cell phones?
Well, we are on cell phones.
Okay.
But I would love a corded number, like something to just pull
I would
that
love one
cord
on my kitchen wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get on there.
I love it.
And this is not the point of the story, but it's actually, it's a tangent, but I just feel like it was easy. Oh, I sound so old. It was easier to have phone calls on corded landlines because
100%.
if two people spoke at once, it didn't like mute one out. I feel like on cell phones, there's a lot of like, wait, no, what? You know, you go.
Yeah, like the technology is so advanced that it's like, oh, let's mute them. Yeah, exactly. And
you can pay more attention.
Yeah,
when you're on a
when
you're wired to the wall.
Yeah, I agree.
That's right.
I love it.
You're Daniel that you were that brought. Wait a minute. Your Daniel is the one who brought Sabrina to the party.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Were you guys already together?
No, I think he had just met her. Like
we had all met like that same day.
Oh my God,
like,
you
we were
met
all on the 6th floor of University of Massachusetts at Amherst, 6th floor of Grayson, and we're all like, it's wild. It's really weird. Daniel and I didn't start dating until like at least a year later, and so it's just. I mean, it's amazing that. I guess that's how life actually works. But I think like we're still pretty close with the same people that were on that floor, which is nice, I guess.
That's crazy that you met your husband to be and one of your best friends.
Exactly.
Like that first week. Now, did your school were you in, I went to a small school and we had what they called a sponsor group. So you were like in this co-ed group with people living on your hall and you did orientation activities and stuff together at the beach. It was almost like a faux family. You had like 2 sophomores who were kind of like the overseeing you. Did you guys have anything like that?
We sort of did. We were one of the very few like dorms. We were called the RAP program, Residential Academic Program.
You still remember that? That's cute.
We all had like 2 classes that were in our dorm building, which is rare at UMass. So we would just like go downstairs and take these 2 classes. Yeah. I don't remember what they were, but so we did kind of get to spend more time together than I guess other dorms because ours was a small one. There were like dorms that were like high rises with 20,000 kids in them. So that was like, ours was more personal.
And your dorm had classrooms in the bottom?
Yeah.
Or was it like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, were they Were they just rooms that someone put a blackboard up? Like, I don't know. Yeah. But UMass is like one of those schools that I think sounds really overwhelming. It's like a 30,000. Sabrina, is it? Check that number.
I think it's more than that.
A million people.
It's gigantic.
And I'm not like a big school person at the thought of it, but it's like we picked the area that we picked to live in, I think is more of like a small town feel. It's not as cool as some of the others.
Are you talking about the dorm?
I think like we really
Grayson?
found our group.
And what did you each major in?
communications,
Yeah,
which no
both
one knows.
together.
Remains
Yeah.
to be seen how to apply
We're not sure
it.
what it is.
Like that's when those memes started going around just about how communications doesn't mean anything and it's not like a real degree. I felt that for sure. I was like, I don't have any identifiable skills. Like I didn't leave with anything I could apply anywhere, really. I was just, I guess I didn't ever intend to. So it's like kind of a privileged position to think like, I hope I can work in like media of some kind, communicating somehow. But
And you are.
yeah, I mean,
it
look, I
worked.
guess it worked. But I mean,
Right.
if my kids were I'd be like, all right, okay. I don't know.
And Sabrina, you as well. How long have you been a producer at Good Morning America?
I have been a producer for 16 years.
At Good Morning America?
Yeah. It was my
Wow.
first job out of college. I got it I think October. So I had graduated in May. I took the summer off. In October, I started. And yeah, I've been there ever since. I've had every job that there is to have there, even some jobs that they got rid of now.
Because of you? They're like,
yeah, probably. They're like, we don't
no
need
one-
any tape coordinators anymore because of her.
I was saying that they're like, no one can follow her. We must
yeah.
retire this job. Go out on a high.
No. But yeah, I've worked, every hour of the day, every day of the week, that all the different shifts. But yeah, 16 years, almost
And-
17.
Had you done internships?
No. Mm-mm. There weren't a ton of internships to be had in Amherst in communications. And then during the summer, I always just had to work. So no, I did no internships. I got lucky with that first job. It was like a glorified librarian. I put stickers on tapes every day for months until they actually let me do something.
Do they still use that same tape system?
No, we got rid of it all. Yeah.
So everything's digital now.
Everything's digital.
So what do you do for the show now?
I am a coordinating producer now, so I do a little bit of everything. I produce stories every day, like news or features, depending on what I'm assigned. I do a lot of entertainment. I was just at the Oscars a couple of weeks ago in the backstage. Yeah, so that's fun. And then I do a lot of our streaming content. So we have a show called GMA Life, and we do streaming specials on ABC News Live and Hulu. So those sorts of things. Yeah.
So Pop Culture Moms, your podcast, is with ABC, right? It's an ABC podcast. Dude, forgive me for not knowing this. Do they do a lot of podcasts? How did this come about?
Well, I had said to Sabrina, let's start a podcast. And she was like, hell yeah. And then she was like, let me just check my contract. And I think we found out pretty quickly that because she's technically a journalist, or it's not even because you're a journalist. You just weren't allowed. I don't know.
That is
I don't know
best
what you do.
burn I have ever heard. I guess she's technically a journalist.
I know. I'm taking away every credential. I don't mean it like that. I mean, because
I know.
I don't think you were allowed to do any creative pursuit.
I wasn't allowed to do it outside of ABC.
Outside of ABC.
Yeah.
And so you approached your boss and they were like, well, what is the idea? And then you said we want to talk about motherhood and look at different fictional moms that we see on TV and movies. And they were like, well, pitch it. And so we made a pitch deck and submitted it. And they were excited. We conned them into it. They were excited to do it, I guess. I mean, because they had like Charlie Gibson has Charlie's bookshelf. What is it called, Sabrina?
The bookcase.
The bookcase.
Yeah.
Excellent.
He talks about
Excellent
books,
representation
talks
over
to
here.
authors and stuff. Yeah. They have a good amount, but not a ton of chat talk, podcasts. So yeah, we're kind of pioneering it.
Isn't that fun?
So where did the idea of talking about motherhood and of the marriage of motherhood, pop culture, representations of motherhood in pop culture, where did that come from?
I think because we're truly have always loved TV and movies, and that's maybe our main hobby. And we always are talking about what we're watching, and we're, I don't want to give us kind of exceptionally judgmental of the characters that we see. And so I think it just made a lot of sense, like knowing that you need to have kind of a niche for a podcast. Because I mean, I'd like to just shoot the shit with Sabrina, like on a podcast and just talk about whatever we feel. But like, I think we knew that it would be, so, you know, smart to pick something that we're interested in. So that's like also a subject matter that I think when you have guests on to talk about it, sometimes it's hard. You don't want to feel like you're skewering your own parents or your own mother. So it's like if you're looking at a fictional character, it's easier to kind of use that as like a mirror or like, you know, to comment on that. So we don't really do any we're not planning on like doing any real moms.
Yeah.
Like Kris Jenner or any, you know what I mean? Like
I see.
You know what I mean? Just because I don't know if we don't want to criticize moms in real life. Just fake ones.
Just fake ones.
So how is motherhood going for each of you? 3 and 5, 2 and 4. I am, although different challenges pop up, you know, as they get older, my own experience has been that it does get easier. And I don't know if that's just because they're getting older, if I'm sort of growing into being a mom more. I found it very hard at the beginning, like surprisingly hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. The exhaustion was like next level for me. I don't know. I just could never really function when I was tired. And I like feel like those first years were a blur. So yes, I think it's like on the up and up, but I'm currently in a state where I can't get my 2.5-year-old to sleep for the life of me. So like this current week, I'm feeling pretty desperate.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's great.
Is your 2.5-year-old in a bed or in a crib?
He's in a crib still. I think if he was in a bed, like the house would be burned down by the end of this week. You know, like he needs to stay imprisoned in the crib for a little bit longer. But he's like standing in it, screaming on the top of his lungs
God,
through
it's
the
so
night.
hard.
Yeah,
that's so hard. And are you? And how do you deal with that?
It's really tough.
Like, do you go in or do you?
I go in. Yeah. I go in. Yeah, I can't hear it. Like I get everyone's thoughts about cry it out, and like I did cry it out.
We
with
already
my
did.
daughter.
We already sleep trained.
Yeah.
She's like, just to let
like
you know.
now that he's at
awful.
2.5, like it feels different than when they're crying, when they're like
totally,
he's screaming my name.
Yeah, it's words.
Yeah, so I have to go in. I can't resist the urge. So I just sit on a chair and stare.
That's how I would be. That's how I have been.
It's hard, yeah.
And especially whatever resolve you might have during the day, in the middle of the night when your baby is calling for you, it's it's just like, I find it to be automatic that I just kind of respond. So it's tough.
Yeah. You like hop up.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
the night is hard and scary, you know, like for me. So I can imagine when the kids are having a hard night sleeping. I don't know. I just remember how scary the night was.
When you were a kid,
still, but like, I always had, similar to you, Allison, I don't know how your sleep is lately, but I've never been a good sleeper. And I've, I went through periods of having like really bad nightmares, or like I had seen a scary movie. So like I had to pee, but I didn't want to walk to the bathroom alone because someone's there,
Speaking my
I just
language.
think like the nights for me always feel to this day like very long. So I probably overly identify with people who struggle, like children who struggle with sleeping at night. I don't know. I can understand like needing comfort at that time, even as painful as it is to get up sometimes.
Yeah. I'm actually, my Daniel and I, I'm not watching, I'm about to say that we're starting to watch Cheers. I'm not watching it with your husband, although he's invited.
Wow.
We are watching Cheers because I'd never really watched it from the beginning, but I've mentioned on the podcast before, Cheers always made me, when I was a little kid and it would come on, it made me feel really melancholy and lonely. And I always heard about Cheers as this sitcom that everyone loved, and it's so funny, it's so clever. But and I'm realizing now, because it is all those things. It's like so well written, it's so funny, so clever. I was just too young for it to really understand what was going on. But it always it's sort of, the set is lonely. It's people who are at a bar. It's very dark seeming, but also it would come on After Facts of Life, usually. Was it After Facts? Was it
yeah.
directly after? But it would come on at a time when I was supposed to be asleep. So it just made me feel really isolated. Yeah. And also I remember occasionally I would just have a night as a little kid where for whatever reason, I was like, this is one of those nights where I'm just not going to sleep. Like it was total insomnia. And it was lonely and sad and hard. So yeah.
How were your parents about it? Like, did you get a chance to go to them, or like were they like us who are like hop too? I'll get in your bedroom with you. Like,
no, I mean they weren't mean, but they had this thing. I don't know if to them it was a thing, but it was like a thing to me where they would refer to it as grown-up time, quote unquote. It's grown-up time. I really don't think they were like, when the clock strikes this, it's grown-up time. I think they were trying to explain to me why I need to go to bed because it's grown-up time. But to me, it was like grown-up. And my dad would say, he would say, like, eventually it was like, look, you can be up, but you can't ask us for, like, you have to, quote unquote, you have to blend into the woodwork is what he would say. And like, so it was basically like past a certain time, unless something egregious is, something big is like if I'm throwing up or something, like you don't have parents anymore is how I felt.
No. God, I mean, I really get that from a parent's perspective. I'm not putting it into practice, but like the older my children get, the more the creep of like, there are no hours that I'm awake and they're not. Like, it's just, like, my oldest is like, kind of goes to bed around the same time that it's crazy. And I'm like, I do miss that. I don't know if that's just a younger man's game when you have like very little kids that they're in bed by 7.
Right.
Like we try to put Levi, who's 3, we put him to bed by 7:30. So like, I guess I still have time after that, but I don't know. James is creeping up there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I never understood as a little kid is when you're up, your parents do have to, they can't relax.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like, I don't get it. It's me. I'm fun. Why can't I be up too? Like, why are you trying to get rid of me? Yeah. And I would say, to gently critique the way my parents handled it, trying to get me to understand that like it's grown up time, you can be up but you can't ask us for anything. That's a tall order. A kid can't get that. What I wish what they had done is like, honey, you need to get a good night of sleep because you have a lot of school tomorrow or whatever, whatever it is. Like, I should have been focused on me, but I guess as an adult I do understand why they wanted that time, but
but yes,
I don't know.
Yeah, like I always think this week especially, like I'm like, Cooper, I don't even care if you're sleeping as long as you just aren't screaming at me.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't tell him that. I would be like, no, you need to go to sleep. But I'm like, as long as you're just like quiet in that bed, that's fine. You could play with every toy you have in there.
Right.
Yesterday I was putting books in. I was like, you read all these books in there, pal? But he's not having it.
I mean, I just feel like all that stuff goes in phases or it's cyclical.
Yes.
It's like with both my kids, there have been times where they were coming into our bed every night. And like that just kind of goes away by itself too. That's been our experience.
Completely. Yes. I think that's so much of parenting has been they just need to grow up. Like, and then maybe they'll regress. But like just that there's always a phase. I think that's like, I find that very freeing because at a certain point, like you're like, maybe if I just like did a different sleep training method, or maybe if I like tried to feed them in cuter foods, or maybe if I like did, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's like very toxic to think there is a way that you could be trying that would work better when it's like, you can see that both of your kids, since we all have 2 kids, that they're both very different and
so different.
You could apply like perfect parenting, and I don't think it's always gonna land the same. So I do find it helpful to just kind of recognize like, it's just about, I don't know, allowing them to have these phases and emotions and outbursts for whatever time it is.
Yeah. And I think for me, I think, and for my husband, I think a lot of it is like, because we're both older parents, like dealing with our shit enough that we can be there for our kids. Because it hasn't happened lately, but when they were younger, there were a lot of things that would happen where I would think, God, my parents would have handled this so differently. And I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
I
Self-congratulatory.
think it all the time. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of joking. It's not all about like me being like, look at me.
We're 100% serious.
Well, maybe it's more like I have resentments about the way my parents handled different things. But if I were younger and maybe less aware of my own stuff, I could see handling things that way. I could see yelling more or being more bombastic. I don't know.
But do
I know.
you ever look at your kids and say, like, must be nice? God, it must be nice. Because, I guess I have the feeling that I think you're describing when, like, my children are so free. They're not afraid of me in the slightest. Sometimes I do think it would be a little helpful if they were like a little more afraid of me. Like if there were a little respect or anything in our house. But like, it just wouldn't have been like tolerated to like have such big emotions. And I'm a big emotions person all the time. Like my dad would have smashed an ashtray through the wall. And like, so like, you know, so there's just, sometimes I look at my kids and I'm like, wow, like I don't know what that's like to just be so free.
Right. To not have that fear. I know. Because I had that.
Yeah. But Andie, like in a good way. Like I think it's a good thing. I just that sometimes it's just so like, wow, I don't relate to these children in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Andie, I know that you had a childhood that had some sadness and a lot of like fighting at home and substance abuse with your dad. Sabrina, what did you have I don't know. Is it right to say a rocky childhood? Did you have upheaval in your childhood?
Volatile.
Volatile. That's a good word.
Yeah. Yeah. I also had a dad who was troubled, you know. His favorite thing was gambling. So it was different. It's different than a substance, but sort of the same.
Compulsion, though, or addiction.
Yeah,
similarly.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things we bonded about. We kind of grew up very similarly. Like we both had moms who were trying their best, but also like it's impossible to do everything when you have like a partner who's just losing it, you know? So yeah, I think I have a hard time relating to what my children have too, but I'm like so excited that I'm like, oh, thank goodness they don't have like their dad is not borrowing money from their piggy bank. Like,
was your dad doing that?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, and it was like sometimes if he won, that was great because I got like double back in the piggy bank. But yeah, he was breaking that thing open quite a bit. Yeah.
Wow. And where was he gambling? Because this wouldn't have been online
the racetrack.
Oh,
yeah,
New Jersey,
racetrack.
The track.
Yeah, the racetrack.
And
always the horses.
Do you have a relation? Is he still here?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just talked to him today. I mean, I have two half sisters who are older, and then me and my little sister. And I would say and our brother has passed away, but I'm the least. I have the least relationship with him. But it's fine now. He's, you know, in his 80s, and I think he's still, you know, gambling.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Everyone's given
still
up.
At the track.
Well, he can't really get to the track. You know, Allison, a couple of years ago, he decided to walk to the track and he got hit by a car.
Right.
Oh, my God.
So, no, he's fine. He's fine, Allison. He's fine. I mean, he wasn't fine at the time. But so now he does not, you know, he asked me for an iPad, I think, for his 70th birthday. And he said, you know, I've never had a computer in my life. So I got it for him. And the very first thing he did was download.
Like a sports book?
A sports book, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, how did he get hit by a car? Like, where was he?
He was...
It's not funny, but it was.
I know it's not funny, but it's so ridiculous.
He made
it's not funny, but it feels funny.
Yeah. He was just like he lives in a senior apartments and it's like right across the street from the racetrack. So he was walking with his little walker and he just stepped into the street. And I think I know he was hit by another fellow gambler who knew him.
Right.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah. It's a comedy of errors.
Are they still friends?
I don't know. I bet. I'm sure.
Oh, no, you're gambling.
No, yeah.
Bet.
If I had to put money on it, I would.
I think so.
And his choice of being in a retirement community across the street from a racetrack, was that by design?
You know what? I don't think that was. I don't think that was by his design. I think it was more of a. My older sister handled it, and I think that was just where he was going, and it just happened to be right there. Yeah.
Got it. Where did you each grow up?
I grew up in Massachusetts, in Medfield, Massachusetts, and Methuen, Massachusetts, which is not as great.
I grew up in Central New Jersey, which Central New Jersey is a thing for all those people who say it's not. But yeah, by the shore.
Who are the people who say it's not?
It's a big debate. People say that there's only North Jersey and South Jersey, and that Central Jersey is not a thing.
Not right.
But it is. It just is. I don't know. Yeah. We stand strong with Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi in our Central Jersey.
If there were no Central Jersey, then are you from North or South Jersey?
I think
they
South.
would say I'm South. Yeah. And I don't relate to that at all. I don't
tell
think
them where
I'm
you're
South
from.
Jersey
Ocean
at all.
Township.
Ocean Township. Yeah.
Same as Wendy Williams.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And because and you always say township.
Yeah. Because it's different.
To differentiate between Ocean
There's
City.
Ocean, New Jersey.
Yep.
And
Okay.
Ocean Township, New
Yep.
Jersey. They're different.
That sounds like there would be a lot of confusion around that.
There is. Yeah.
Tony, where do you come down on is there a Central Jersey debate?
This is news to me. I wasn't aware that was a thing.
Oh, really? Where are you from, Jersey?
No, but I've toured a lot and stuff, so
Yeah.
I've been a million.
He has a gold
times,
record or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I me's a small state, so I guess if there's any sort of logic, I don't know. I'm trying to find something there, but
Yeah.
there's central. There's got to be a central everywhere.
Yeah. Have you been to the Stone Pony when you toured?
I was just there in January.
Yeah, so that's right where I live. I live about I grew up about 10 minutes from there, which is central.
When you were there, Tony, did you feel what part of Jersey did you feel like you were in?
It felt very central.
Yeah, thank you, Tony.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
And
right.
where do you both live now?
I'm back in Massachusetts. Not far from where I grew up.
Okay.
Did you say Methuen?
Yeah. Do you know Methuen?
I do. One of my really close friends is from Methuen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it wasn't so bad when I was there for the first 10 years of my life. It's not great. It's not ideal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Is
I
it
haven't
what
been
a lot
a
of
not the
ton. I've been a little bit
greatest.
here.
is there
and
You know what I
crime
mean?
or what are we talking around?
So I was born in 1985, so lived there till I was just around 1995. It's just I know people say that you're not allowed to say white trash, but I think if you grow up in white trash area, you're allowed to. If you can own it as your own, it's a little bit just
Riverside?
seedy.
Okay.
It's
Is it people making meth?
oh no.
Okay.
Just it's on the border of Salem, New Hampshire. It's just it's not ideal. I think there's a decent crime rate now. It's just, you wouldn't want to move there, I don't think. I'm saying that, and now all of the people from Methuen are going to be devastated. I'm sorry, but
All the Methuen listeners are going to, maybe they'll agree with you though. They're finally, someone said it.
well, Dana. Okay, do you remember though when there was a gal on the Real Housewives, Dana, who had sunglasses that cost $20,000, and she was always telling people how much things cost. She
Wait,
happened to be from
which Housewives was
I
she
think
on?
it was on Beverly Hills for a second, I think it was Beverly Hills. It was
This is
just
ringing
a
a
really
bell.
wild. Like, it explained a lot when we found out Gina was from Methuen. Then I moved to a town not like an hour from there that is very nice. Very,
Okay.
like, small and like, sweet.
And Sabrina, are you in New York?
I'm like right outside of the city in North Jersey now.
North Jersey.
Yeah.
But do you still have one foot in Central? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
It's in your heart.
In my heart, I will always be a Central Jersey person.
Did you have kids in the city at all? So I lived in New York for 10 years. I like to say 10 years, but really it was like just a little bit shy of 10 years. I'm from California though, but when I left New York, I was like, I'm not done with New York. I want to go back someday. My husband has no interest in that. But the idea of raising kids in the city sounds very hard to me.
Yeah. No, I didn't. We moved out of the city when I was pregnant, and I did give birth in New York City, which was not great because you're like in New York City, you're cramped into like,
Right.
it was like other people in the room with you because the hospitals are cramped. But I never had children there, but I can't imagine, like, what do you do when a kid pukes in the night? Like, you don't have a washer and dryer in most
Right.
apartments. Like, it all sounds so difficult.
Yeah.
Carrying,
Getting up the
strollers
sta-
up and
up and
down
stairs.
the subway. Yeah. Sounds hard.
It does sound hard. Okay. Can we talk about the Barbie movie for a minute? Because I was listening to your episode with Heather Gay, which, by the way, do I need to read Bad Mormon?
Oh, I loved it.
I'll tell you right now, Allison, it's so well written. It's like funny and there's a lot. It's just she has so many callbacks like to seeds that she, sowed in the beginning of the book. I think it's like really nice.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I would say read it. I like
Tony,
her a
Heather
lot.
Gay is from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm
She's
guessing
made a
You say
real
that like I
stir.
don't know.
Yeah. Receipts. Sabrina, do it. What is it?
Tony,
Receipts, timeline.
Receipts timeline. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Tony's girlfriend watches Vanderpump a bit, but does she watch any Real Housewives?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Well, so anyway, you guys were talking about the Barbie movie and specifically that line, which now the specific words are going to slip. What is it? We mothers hold still. What is the line?
Daughters. We mothers stand still so our daughters can look back and see how far they've come.
And you guys and Heather were talking about how much you liked that line. But are you aware there was like kind of some backlash against that line online? I'm saying the word line too many times. At least
Honestly,
I saw it
I have
on.
no idea. No.
Yeah, there were
didn't know.
people.
Will you
What
tell
was it?
me?
There were people on. Okay, I saw this on TikTok at least. There are people who felt like, that line is saying that we mothers have to like minimize ourselves or make ourselves small so that our daughters can outperform us or something,
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
which
I
is
can
not
see
how
that.
I
can
interpreted
see-
it.
No,
yeah,
it's
that's
not.
not my read on that line. No.
Especially because Ruth Handler was a boss.
Yeah.
Who she like
And she's
still
on
had a
Cheers.
career. She created Barbie while she had a daughter. So I'm just thinking like, yeah. But yeah. I can
Right.
see that. I can see that take, but
My interpretation of it was like we have to let go.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah. That was
Okay.
my
Yes.
feeling.
I agree. And provide, I guess, like a stable like support. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's like always here. So like that they can go on and live their
Yes.
own existences. But
Yeah, I think the people who don't like that line, it's the idea that it's the we have to stand still thing. Like, why can't we
Yeah.
keep moving? Whatever. I don't know, but that just, and I'm all over the place with this,
Yeah.
but a little bit, it's like, well, you shouldn't be competing with your daughter.
I completely
Yeah.
agree. That we talk about that a lot. I don't have a daughter. Sabrina has a daughter, and I don't really understand it. Like,
The competition.
but I think it happens a lot. I
Yeah.
think that's like the
Like, my
competition is-
greatest wish is for my daughter to be so much better than me. Like, that is my dream. Like, I would never want to compete with her at all.
yeah.
I can understand in that line, like the we mother stand still. It's like your life stopping and
Mhm.
another's beginning.
Mhm.
And I think that I can see as problematic and hard. And I think that's how it kind of can feel
Yeah.
no matter what you're doing in motherhood, that like there is probably a period of time where you feel like, how will I resume having ambition? having a career or pursuing things. And I don't know if everyone finds their way back to it, but it's like that. I think that that resonates. So I could see that from criticism perspective.
Right. So what is the pop culture, or who are the pop culture moms, however you want to answer it, that you guys grew up watching?
Okay.
So I would say, I remember watching Married with Children with my family, which I was, probably too young to get it. But so Peg Bundy is a mom that I always think of as a pop culture mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older, when I was, in 5th or 6th grade and my parents were separated, I really related to the Gilmore Girls. Like, I thought this is the pop culture mom. Like, my mom is Lorelai, I'm going to be the Rory. I mean, I had a little sister, so she was crowding the situation. But, I really felt like that was the dream. And now we talk about this a lot. Like, that relationship does seem a bit codependent and problematic now, but it seemed so ideal when I was young.
Did you have a relationship with your mom that was similar to Rory and Lorelai?
I think in the sense of, like, my mom was very youthful, and I think she probably shared maybe more than most adults share with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say it was codependent. Yeah. But I don't think it was too problematic for me, but I can see how similar it was now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you guys become more like pals after the divorce?
We were always like the best of pals. I took on the feeling of wanting to be her protector at a young age, like emotional protector.
Yeah.
I always wanted to just make sure my mom was happy. So I was her little buddy. And my sister was very much a daddy's girl. So we've stuck with that dynamic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the age difference between you and your sister?
My sister's 4 years younger than me.
Okay. Oh, that's like me and my sister. I have a sister who's 4 years younger than I am.
Oh, yeah.
And then Andie, what about you? Pop culture wise, what did you grow up on?
Well, my parents were the types who they loved the movies, and so they took me to see, I mean, truthfully, every single movie that they went to see. And I mean, I saw kids' movies too, but like I remember being 5 and seeing the Cape Fear remake with Robert De Niro and Nick Nolte in the theater because I remember throwing up during it. Like,
oh my God. From fear, or were you sick?
I think I ate too much popcorn, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, but I remember like the standing there, and my parents just thought it was like, I mean, I think that my mom now would say like, yeah, maybe you weren't supposed to, but they like, cover your eyes in Pulp Fiction. Like, just don't watch this part. Or like, there was no like censoring content or anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't even know how I would pick. Like, so many of the movies that I think back to, it's like I remember seeing that in the theater, like much too young. But God, every movie mom is like so relevant. I liked watching 90210 when I was pretty young.
Yes.
Did
you know
what?
The actress that played, her name was Cindy Walsh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a therapist now.
She's a therapist?
Yeah. A couple that I knew from Mommy and Me went to her for marriage counseling.
Wow.
I know.
I
Imagine
feel like
being
that
able
would
to go
be
to her.
so comforting.
I know.
To have Cindy
Wow.
Walsh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny because we interviewed Ginger Z not too long ago, and she was saying, like, we were asking her, like, are there any moms that you like? And she was like, well, what about Cindy Walsh? And I had to think back, like, she was not a incredibly, like, memorable character for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Walsh parents, weren't they always out of town?
Yeah, I feel like
in the
remember.
older years.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about, like,
Yeah. Once they hit
old
college.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I loved 90210. But then I loved like every Felicity, Dawson's Creek, every sitcom. God, so I didn't come to Gilmore Girls until I was like late 20s, and I just loved it. But I think I relate to that Lorelai and Rory relationship, like having like a really like almost sisterly in some ways relationship with my mom. But like she's always very clearly in a mother role, but I think that's probably what I feel closest to.
Mm-hmm. And do you still have that with your mom?
I think that I always make a joke that our parents don't get better after a certain point. And like, I think it's Greg Fitzsimmons who said, you better do all the self-help work you need to do before you have kids, because that's going to take a hit and you're going to kind of pause that for a while. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true. Like, I think there's, I find that like, as I age, I need to do more work, or I find myself doing more work to accept that she is who she is, and like I can't expect her, you know, and that's like one of the hardships of my, like, it's like incredibly painful, and like, I would love to make a joke about it, but like, and it's not even, the difficulty is not even just in like thinking back and kind of wondering how she parented the way she parented. It's like recognizing a friction that maybe has always been there, but I didn't know any different because I hadn't like lived a life outside of that. And now that I have children, it's just I find it very challenging. And I find it's like, I think my mom might be an emotionally immature person, as you might have heard that term. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to skewer her. She's a wonderful mother, wonderful person, but it's hard. I think the older I get, the harder it gets in some ways.
Yeah, I relate to that. And then I think why though? It should be getting easier. But I think maybe you become more aware of things, like you were saying, these things that you just sort of took for granted, or it didn't stand out to you as anything that you wished were different. And then as you maybe heal yourself a bit as you get older, all of a sudden these things sort of like, oh, I don't like how that feels, or that doesn't strike me. You know, it's hard.
Yeah. It's like all of the work that you hear about, like around boundaries. I'm like, that's so, I think to a lot of like, all of us could say our parents are like, that's offensive to them. So like creating sort of like any structure around like when you're going to talk to them or whatever. I think that my mom takes that as like a real affront, and that's very hard on her. And I think that it took me a long time to realize, like, something that sounds very obvious, but as a real codependent, that I am not responsible for other people's emotions, and they're not responsible, which to a degree you kind of are. Like everyone, you're kind of responsible for people's emotions, you know, but that was like kind of news to me that like you're not making someone feel this way if you just act in a way that's true to yourself, or if you just do what you need to do, it's not hurting someone. And that's like the harder side of codependence. So I think that like my mom might recognize that on some level, but not as much as I've recognized that. So I feel like there's still like a guilt that I carry, that she doesn't know that I'm not responsible for upsetting her with things, you know?
That is so hard. I'm relating so intensely to that.
So
and I don't think I have a similar thing with my mom. I don't think she would even agree. Like if someone said to her, like, is it okay for her to live her life even if that means that these things bother you? She'd be like, no. Yeah, that's not fair. Yeah. That's not fair.
No, but yeah.
If it was put that way, she wouldn't say that. But I have a lot of guilt around, like if she's upset or hurting, I feel, without even thinking about it, like I need to fix this.
Yeah.
And I think that she would be like, yes, I'd love you to fix it. You know, the reality is you can't 100%. Fix someone else, but like she would love for me to try. And that's, there's no like, I don't want to put this on you, honey. You go, I know you have your plate is full with this stuff. I don't know. I feel guilty even talking about it.
No, I do too. Yeah. I do too. And like my mom, even to this, like everything I do is like still for this woman. Like, you know, like to like prove something, which is crazy. And even to her, she's like, you've never had to prove anything, you know, like she would think it was silly, but like I have been seeking the approval of my mom, and I continue to. And I just realized like she told me the other day, she was like, no, I'm not living for you. I'm living through you. And I was like, I don't want to be the one to tell you this. That's very tough to put on a kid. But she thinks it's like cool. But I'm like, but I want to be able to put this down and not worry that like if I'm doing nothing, that's not enough. Because I mean, like when I got my book deal, there's like a year where I'm writing it. So it doesn't appear that I'm working. And in fairness, I wasn't working. Like I didn't write it until like the last month. You know what I mean? But like she constantly that year was like, maybe you should go into nursing. I don't know. There's always something at the hospital. You could like go back to school. Like, so it's just, I'm always trying to like prove that I'm doing something worthwhile to my mom. And then she's like congratulating me for it. And then I'm like, no, but don't like it too much. You know, I don't know.
Right. You don't want to be dependent on that.
Yeah. I don't want you to love it that much, but I don't know. It's a mess. Life is a mess. And I say all this because this is the awareness I bring into my parenting that I just try to like, I don't know. I guess I try to maintain my own sense of self from my kids, like just, or I want them to think that I am, even though I'm not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I try to be really,
think I'm okay.
I try to be really mindful about not making them feel responsible for me and reminding them that like, I'm the parent, I got this, it's okay, you know. And it's interesting with Elliot, and I don't know why exactly, but he wants to be the third parent. Like he wants to, yes, Elliot's
a third parent. I love
right.
That.
He wants to be a third parent. Like he will he'll remind Owen of rules which actually I've never really set. So he's more of a strict parent than we are. And he, he's just very into like taking on these extra responsibilities, sort of emotional responsibilities and things. And I actually see that, and I don't want that for him, but I also don't want to I try to gently remind him, like, you don't need to, but I don't want him to feel demoted from this imaginary job that he, elected himself to have. Do you have that at all? Your kids are younger, but do you see that with your elder children?
I see it. Yeah. And I also was it and still am. Like I tell my sister once a week, if you just let me make all of your life decisions, it would be better. Like I still, and so yeah. And I see it with my daughter. She does it. And she's making up rules that I've never even had. So that I really relate to. She's like, you're not allowed to do that, Cooper. And I'm like, that's not even a rule here.
Right.
Yeah.
Allison, have you seen a lot of the eldest daughter, like memes or like
a bit? Yeah. Like with
it's so true to life that, and I think there's just like an eldest child, but eldest daughter in particular is like such a particular caricature almost that I really relate to. And I think I like that Violet's like showing us this is just who they are. Maybe they are, maybe it is nature, you know?
That would be a relief.
Right? I know, because I see that and I'm like, what structure are we not providing that he feels that he has to XYZ?
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's just imagine it's just how he was going to be no matter what.
I know. I feel good I'd like to think it's that. Although I have a lot of toxicity in my traits, so I don't know if I want. I'd like to like work through it, but I'd like it for all of it to not be my fault someday.
Same,
So like, I don't know. I try to stay flexible. Stay open, stay limber. I don't know.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I don't know how you guys are feeling right now as we are sort of heading into spring. But my social battery is drained, and it can be easy to ignore our social battery and spread ourselves thin, especially with social gatherings. What is the right amount of socializing for you, and how do you recharge? Maybe you thrive around people. Maybe you need more alone time. Therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life that doesn't drain your battery. Interestingly, though, my social battery is drained, but I'm not social enough. What if the way my social battery recharges is with being social? That would be a conundrum. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. What if what fills my social battery is talking to my therapist? I mean, it definitely charges my battery. I get they're saying that, like, talking about, being social, though. I'm just saying these are the kind of things I talk about in therapy, actually. I love therapy, and I feel it's helped me immensely. So if you're open to it, I think it would help you too. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bestfriend today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. Better, HELP.com/bestfriend. Okay.
Hey, it's Todd Perry, co-host of Allison and Todd After Hours on Patreon. And I'm biased, but the show's up there with my favorite Allison Rosen podcast. Top 3 at least. Why? Because of the fun topics. We've already discussed getting caught having sex, perverted teppanyaki chefs, filming yourself, Gen Z slang, slay, why Allison needs Ben Gay, astrology, the Adam Carolla show, hip pastors, a fight we had with a prominent politician, backhanded compliments, death, and why German men sit when they pee.
Well, I can't stand in pee. So he thought it was like sort of showing off, as if I'd be like, bite my fist. Like, man, I wish I could do that.
Start now and get 2 shows a month for just $2 at patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Not sure if you're ready to subscribe? Check out hours of free previews at patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Allison with 1 L, Todd with 1 D.
Andie, as a recipe, what does recipe what does recipe tester mean in that context, and how does that work?
I don't really know, honestly. It's like I've created like recipes for brands that are not even for me, but they're for like the brand, for like websites and social media. So like that requires like usually like 3 tests of the recipe, like as written, to see if it works and things like that. So, and then when I wrote my cookbook, I was living in New York with Sabrina. And so like testing was a little looser, but it was like it's really just like, does this work at the exact temperature you're saying? Can you like take a thermometer and make sure that your oven is that temperature for the time that you're recommending? So it's like just kind of like ruthless, like, does this hold water, what you're saying that we should do with this food that we're spending a lot of money on? But it's fun. I hate to be a bummer, but ever since I had kids, like, I hate cooking.
Interesting.
I can't believe that I still am making meals 5 years later, like multiple times a day. Like, I find it really, that's very overwhelming to me. And I'm like, because I don't care what I eat now. Like, I mean, I'd like it to be like, I care that it's sort of healthy and things, but like I could be so much easier than this, and like be okay with the same thing every day. But like, so I'm trying to get like variety, and then it's just a lot of like pressure I find that I like cooking less and less.
Now I don't know how to describe what you were like a food influencer, creative food influencer.
Like a food blogger. I started as a food blogger. Yeah.
Do you think some of the pressure comes from having had that background and like knowing how amazing you can make this look? Or is it really because you're trying to please your kids who are picky, if they're picky?
I think that I didn't, I came to an understanding late in life that I have ADHD. And I realized that like, I think cooking was like a hyperfixation for a time. And like, I'm one of these people, like right now I'm really into woodworking. It's lasted a couple years, but talk to me in a couple years, I might say, I'm never making anything again. Like, this is kind of like something that I do. And it's not that I know, my family, like, we like to eat good meals. Like, I will cook. It's just not once like that newness and that passion expires a little bit for me, I'm like, gotta find something new. Like, this is like, we're not going to do this for the rest of our lives. Like, it's kind of like a really bad quality, I guess. But I don't know. I think I just don't have the same zest for like, how many new recipes can anyone possibly make? And also, I don't want to eat food that's that varied or interesting. Like, I'm seeing so much lavender, and this has been for years, and I'm saying, get that out of my food. Like, get the herbals out of my food. You know, and it's like, I don't know. I'm like a hater in some ways. I just think like there's no way to reinvent a recipe. Everything's derivative. Like, I get tired of it. I'm talking so much smack about food. Don't mean to. It's just, I don't have the same passion for it. And I think now that I like have to do it, and also because of all of my baggage about like wanting my kids to like a huge array of like good for you foods and wanting to ensure that they have like proper nutrition and that they don't like struggle with their weight, or like, you know, it's like, I think there's a lot of baggage with preparing someone's food lifestyle, you know?
Right, because you were so hyper focused on it. You can't be casual about it.
Right.
What kind of woodworking are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
I make furniture. I
wow.
I don't know. I like redo things in my house. Like, I can, how do I describe
She like
it? I can do,
renovated her whole
carpentry.
kitchen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like carpentry stuff. And honestly, it's a lot more intuitive than it sounds. Like, it's not as impressive as
so
you may
hard to
think,
believe.
but it's like, it's a lot of fun. I've learned a lot about like plumbing, and like I do like light electrical and stuff. I just really, I don't know. It's like it's a hobby. It's a lot of fun.
Did you redo your kitchen yourself?
No, not entirely, but I mean, like, I built like cabinetry and stuff, and like, you know, I can put in like plumbing and stuff, like basic stuff. It's cool. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
What started your interest in that?
I think it like an impatience. Like, when I want something, like I want it yesterday, and so like I was like, I bet I could. I think this is another like major character defect. I think like when I see stuff, I think I could probably try that. I could probably like give it a go. Like, it's like I'm not going to take major risks. It probably is, though. It's like,
I mean, it's kind of a strength.
Yeah.
I just think like I'm kind of like your Daniel.
Yeah, I was going to say
that I'm artistic enough that like I can kind of imagine how things are put together, and like, I guess I'm impulsive and impatient enough to like just try it, knowing like the risk. Like, certain things I wouldn't like try to redo, but yeah.
I think that's cool.
And nowadays you can look up YouTube videos. Like, you can find out how stuff is done. It's really, that's fun. She's
got like a whole workshop in her basement. The first time I went down there, I was like, she's like disposing of bodies, because she's got like curtains everywhere to catch the dust. And like these giant saws, and I was like, what has happened to her?
Have you hurt yourself yet?
You know, surprisingly, no.
See,
No,
that's
my
great.
major injury is like always throwing out my back ever since I had my first son. And so that can happen. Like, if I just get to a knee, sometimes I feel, like, I don't know if it's like technically a slipped disc. I don't know what it is, but like, do you find that you can just throw that back out and it's gone for a day?
I pulled on a pair of boots that don't have a zipper, just a pull kind of thing. And I was like, ugh. And then I took the boot off, and I was like, I think I threw out my back just from removing this fucking boot. Excuse my language.
100%.
Boot. Yeah. So I'm brittle.
It's like my body did fully rearrange, like my organs rearranged in such a way that like any shift, it's like I don't think they're in there tight. I don't think they're in there tight, and I don't have a pelvic floor.
Oh no,
so
same.
I think that's always the problem. They're like, you got to strengthen your back. Like, get me a jade egg then. I don't know how I'm supposed to do. No, I really need to know how to do it.
Have you gone to a physical therapist or anything?
Yeah,
I haven't. I've
asked about it. No, but I would like to.
a handout with
Okay.
names of people from my gynecologist, like the last 3 visits, and I keep misplacing it. I guess I'll probably do it, but
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, sometimes it sounds odd, but I mean, if you've like looked into it, like sometimes it's inner massage work
Right. That's weird.
as well, which is tough. I don't know. I just don't know. It's like, I just don't think Kegels or Kegels they're not cutting it.
No.
And
But I'm also not doing them.
I'm also not doing them more than like at once every week if I remember at a
Yeah.
stoplight, and then I say I'm too tired. But I don't know.
My thing with Kegels, because I'm doing them right now, like I can do the tightening, but then the release is like difficult for me. Is that how it is for everyone?
Let me
Are we all
see.
Kegling?
Yeah, we're all doing it.
Tony,
Tony.
do you mind? No, I think the release is easier for me.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't know. You know, I think
I could also not be doing anything right. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's
who
the
knows
other
what I'm
part.
actually tightening.
That's the one
Yeah.
issue. Also, my kids have like some of the biggest heads you'll ever see. And I have a huge head. So like it's not, I mean, I can't blame them. But it's
Right.
like, so I think that they did some damage,
Yeah.
on the way out.
Yeah. Let's do just me or everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. Do you guys have your own just me or everyone's?
I do.
Let's hear
I know
it.
where you start.
Yeah. So I when I am feeling tired, if I have a headache, I not really anymore, but when I used to have a hangover, I will go to take a shower and I'll just sit down and just let the water rinse over me and just sit there until I feel better. And I don't think anyone else is sitting down in the shower.
Okay,
I've
that
done
is
it. I've done it a bunch.
really.
Oh, thank you.
Under what circumstances are you doing this, Tony? Similar?
It's yeah, kind of. It's been a while since I've done it, but I used to do it regularly. Like especially if it was like a day that I've become a morning person, but I didn't used to be. And if I had to get up really early for something, and I would almost get up earlier than I needed to, even though that in a way is worse because I would like want to give myself some time, and literally some of that time would be taking
Or
a
sitting,
long
yeah.
shower and sitting.
Oh,
in
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
In a tub.
I think
Now,
I
are we
did it
talking
last
tubs?
week.
Are you
Tub,
talking
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
shower with a you're not talking a
Yeah.
standing shower, right?
No, but I'm going to be honest, I have done that before too.
Same. Okay, so I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm differentiating.
Yeah,
'cause I
but
did that
yeah.
too.
Tony, is it a tub shower or a standing shower?
Tub.
The
I don't think
tub
I've ever
makes
done
it
it in a
nice. It's
standing.
cozier, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
it's your
But if you're in a
envelope.
standing shower, are you like leaning against the wall or just like in the middle?
just well,
You're
the
sitting on
times
the
that I've
drain.
done that in like a standing shower have been desperate times. Like I've been very hungover.
Yeah.
So those I can't really say, but probably leaning against the wall.
I've never done this. Maybe I
It's
need
really-
to.
When
you
the
have a
water
seat
just
in
goes
your
over your
shower-
head, it feels so nice.
Wait,
We-
do you face the water or do you go
I-
away from the water?
I'm what we dubbed on the show a traveler, so I do both.
A traveler is so good. Yes, yes.
I'll face it, I'll face away from it. We do actually have a seat in our shower, which is like covered with, bottles and things. The water doesn't, I guess I could adjust the nozzle so it hits there though, because like it would be a little it's not directly under the water.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just to like lay down in bed because I will sit or lay down wherever I can. I'm surprised I haven't brought that energy to the shower.
I love the idea of it. I mean, I
always-
just
yeah,
became
it's
like
always
a
worth a
bath
shot,
person.
guys.
Yeah.
You're a bath person? I've tried so many
Newly.
times to be, okay, tell me.
It's about the Epsom salt that you
Mm.
use and just knowing that that's helping somehow. I'm like always, like, again, I do throw my back out a lot. I feel pain in my, as I like to remind people, my cervical spine, which is my neck.
Mhm.
And so I'm always like, I think I need like Botox, like in my traps, like
Oh, the
people
trap
get
talks,
to like,
yeah.
to like relax. I think I'm really tense. And so I think I one time was like, I'm going to try an Epsom salt bath. And I think maybe placebo, but I did feel like it was helping. Now, you have to do an ungodly amount of Epsom salt. They say to put 2 full cups in there, which is like a bag of Dr. Teal's almost. So it's crazy. But
it's an expensive
I've really enjoyed it. I got like a tray.
Ooh.
I can watch like a tablet. I mean, it's wonderful. The only problem is the tub that we have is in my son's bathroom, and it smells so bad. Even and like I'm a clean person, but it always smells like someone like just pooped or something. So that can make it like you're less excited about it, you know?
Right.
I'd imagine.
It's awful. Because
Yes.
I'll never stop talking about how upset I am with the Ubby diaper pail that was supposed to be stainless steel, last for the rest of time. It didn't. It rusted out on us. We had to just get another, we tried to do another, just regular people, lidded trash.
Mhm.
That didn't work.Maybe I need a diaper genie.
I think,
It's a lot of
what do we
trouble.
have? We have I don't know. I forget what it's called. I'm not familiar with the diaper pail you're talking about, but they all smell.
They all smell,
Because you're putting
right?
dirty diapers in them. Yes.
Yeah,
I do
thank
not
you.
believe that they
Thank
actually
you.
hold
Okay.
in any odor.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what are we doing wrong here?
What is the one that you had, the Ubby diaper pail?
Ubby. Yeah, UBBI. And it's looks like it's all metal almost, but it's like painted on the outside.
Right.
It just rusted and then the handle broke off because I think there's a little bit of moisture gets trapped
Yeah.
in shutting it all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. Or again, there could have been user error there. I don't know, but I was devastated when that let go.
Right.
So, okay. So
feel
just
like this
give a
one was-
bath a go. Give
Yeah.
a bath a go.
I've tried it so many times. I get bored. I want to put my hands in, but then I can't be looking at my phone, which,
get
I
that
need
too.
to.
I get that too.
It gets cold fast. And then also the thing of and now do I have to take a shower after?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a lot, but
Exactly.
never say never. Andie, what is your just mirror everyone?
Well, mine I feel like has to have been done in the history of the show, but it is that anytime someone says, I'm proud of you, my instinct is a little bit like, that's condescending.
I don't think this has ever been done, but I think about this.
Do you think about that? Does
A
anyone
lot.
relate to that? Because I recognize it. No one means it that way. It's just, to me, I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel good sometimes.
That's so interesting. We were watching Vanderpump last night and someone said, was it Sheena said to someone or someone said to Sheena, I'm proud of you. And Daniel was proud of her, flagged it. For me, I think because I want the whole world to be my mom sometimes, I'm often thank you. But there is something a little bit infantilizing about it because I think of proud of someone as sort of a parental thing.
Yes.
So I don't always have the same, I don't feel that they're condescending to me, but I also I am very aware of there's a weird dynamic in that statement.
Yeah. Or it's what was I doing before?
Right.
It feels like a little bit oh, I've come so far. But I don't know.
I've been hoping you would do this thing.
Yeah, I guess that's but I think it's I fully am aware when people say it that they don't mean it. They mean it very kindly, like a good job or something, but it always strikes me a little I don't like that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I don't think
So
it's
no
ever
one has
come up.
said that?
No, that's never come up on the show.
I was like,
but
this
it's
might be
something. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
I
it's
get
something.
Do you feel
that way
Tony?
too?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think I take it a step further, where it's kind of just any compliment in general. I struggle with accepting. They even if I know it's genuine, it sounds phony in my head. Even to the point where if I'm the one saying it, if I try to compliment someone else, to me I sound phony, even though I know that I mean
That's
it.
so interesting.
It's a real struggle.
That's you too, Andrea. You cannot take a compliment.
That's very true too. But I was gonna say, let's get in your head. Let's get your childhood critical voice. Were your parents critical, Tony, of you?
It's weird because they were beyond supportive. But I do think they're,
Were they critical of themselves, I guess?
No, I don't think so. But I think there is a lot of judgment maybe that happens.
Sure.
And I think I picked up on that a lot, I think. And I think maybe that's definitely something I've talked about in therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very Irish Catholic. That's very Irish. Everyone talks about in Massachusetts, you're not better than me. Like that. Like you wouldn't want to boast. You wouldn't want to
Yeah.
elevate yourself. So
Are you able to pay Flo a compliment?
Yes, but it's not easy. It's always a bit of a struggle for me. I said, I know I mean it, and I'm the one who's saying it and feeling it, but it just feels wrong when I say it.
Daniel has that too.
Really?
Like he's afraid that I'll just think he's lying. I'm like, try me.
Let
like
me,
I won't.
Let's see.
Trust me,
let's
I'll
see.
like it.
And who are all the people that you paid compliments to in your life who are like who thought that you were lying? Because I would love a compliment, Daniel.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's interesting. Yeah, he feels like he'll come off as insincere.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my word.
And it's what's interesting is that like Tony, like just knowing you like I do for past what is it? Is it 10 years that you've been with us? Just knowing you like I do. Okay. You and Daniel, Allison's Daniel, like are two of the most like sincere people when you're saying something. I believe that that's what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Like, you know what I mean? You don't seem like people who are just blowing smoke up people's butts.
Right.
You know?
Well,
so
good, I guess.
take that.
See, you couldn't even take that compliment.
I know.
Just take it. Just
He
take
hated
it.
that.
Take it in. Take it in. No, I'm not. But yeah, that's interesting.
But do you have this also, Tony? Daniel has friends who are like very good at blowing smoke. And so he's very aware of what it looks like when someone is being insincere.
See, now that I'm not sure of. Because I always take it that way. And then sometimes, sometimes I genuinely can't tell.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sabrina, how do you feel about I'm proud of you?
You know, it doesn't bother me that much. I was trying to think. Like, I probably feel a little embarrassed. I think what Andie said about when someone's like, I'm proud of you, and you're like, well, what was I doing before? I always think that when people say like, oh, you look so great. And I'm like, oh my God, I must have been an ogre the last time they saw me. Like, you know, like I can't ever take that compliment.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I look like last time?
Right.
You know? Yeah. So, but proud doesn't bother me. I guess I was just so excited for anyone to be proud of me growing up that I'm like, I'll take it all.
I think I'm like that. Yeah, I must be like really susceptible to flattery because if someone's like, oh, you look nice, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm just like, I just soak up the compliments. I'm sure there's something where there's got to be a line somewhere where I would be like, I don't feel like this is sincere. But you know what it is? It's when, I don't know if you guys get this too, when someone out of the blue emails me to pitch a guest for my podcast and they say something complimentary about my podcast, but it's false. You know, it's like, and then I like, this one who's like, I love the actionable steps that you offer in your podcast. That's how I learn things too. It's like, I think I wrote back. I wrote back and I said, oh, thanks. Which actionable steps did you like the best? And they never wrote back.
No.
Do you ever get pitches where people are clearly just copying and pasting like a form letter and they don't even remember to change your name?
Yes.
I get them all the time.
Yeah, where they they actually didn't change the name.
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, no.
Right. I know. Let's do Podcast Pals product picks.
Podcast Pals product picks.
Okay. So this is where you guys share things that you've been into lately or things that you can't live without or just any products that float your boat.
Okay. We could spend at least another hour and I could just run products with you. Okay. Do you want me to tell you? Okay. I had long struggled with phone car holder. What is it called? Like something that holds your phone in your car. Okay.
I know what you mean.
Because my vents weren't right or something. It didn't like hold, or my phone's exceptionally heavy because I get mine looks like an iPad. Like then I got Sabrina, what are they called? The grips that we hold the phone with.
Oh, the pop socket.
Pop sockets on it. And then there's that layer of problem. I just needed a cradle for my phone. Like, I don't want it to be necessarily gripping. I need something that's just holding my phone. So I consulted every list, the wire cutter, the strategist, everywhere. And I finally bought at Christmas time. The brand is IoTtie, IOTT. Are you familiar with this? IOTTIE. And it's like the number one. I want to say it's like under $25.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, first one that's like actually worked, doesn't feel like it's going to break. You can hold it by like, it squeezing your phone on the sides. There's also a little cradle underneath that like you can plug your phone. It's just flawless. And I think that like I had struggled for, I want to say like 10 years needing to keep like buying things that didn't even work.
So wow, amazing. Thank you.
I really want people to get that.
I love it. Sabrina, do you have one?
Yeah, mine is also car related. And mine is my daughter, Violet, around 1.5, started getting car sick and gets car sick constantly. And it is so upsetting. But we bought, like, off of Amazon, a bulk box of hospital, like, vomit bags. And they have, like,
the ring.
A circle that's made out of plastic, and we keep the whole box in the car, and it has changed our life. Because cleaning that car seat every day is really hard. So, yeah, I would say everyone should get those if they've got kids who get car sick.
We have those too. We have them like in every crevice because Elliot gets car sick too.
Yeah.
Well, have you found any good tricks for car sickness?
Really, the only thing that helped was when she was able to turn forward. But still, she still gets sick quite frequently. But it used to be every time we got in the car, even if it was for like 2 minutes.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think some people periodically will send me tips. And I feel like did someone mention kids Dramamine? We've never tried that. I mean, I think yours is probably too young, but I should look into what age you can do kids Dramamine. Although I wonder if that makes you drowsy.
We did, yeah, I think we did once when we were driving to visit Andie in Massachusetts. It was going to be like 4 hours, and her doctor was like, give her that. And she just slept the whole time, yeah.
Okay, so it did. Yeah, we should try that sometime. Yeah,
it helped, but she slept for 4 hours. You
know? I feel so bad for Elliot. It'll always start with him saying, he'll say, I have car sickness, and then he'll say, my tummy hurts. And then sometimes we'll get to the destination, and then he'll throw up. That's happened a couple times. He threw up in the middle of Costco, but we had the little emesis bag. But but then he's like totally fine once he throws up.
Yeah. Yeah. They really do puke
that
and
relief
rally.
after throwing up is real. I'm not a thrower. I've thrown up like not much in my life. Like I'm not a puker. So I find it like so upsetting to throw up.
Me too.
And so when my kids I'm okay with like other people's throw up, I guess, now that I have my children, but like I just can't relate to it because it's like I'm like a diarrhea person, if anything. Like I don't have.
Let's go around. Let's go around and say whether we're diarrhea or throw up people.
Great. Good.
I am more a diarrhea person. Not that I love that either, but some of the worst times of my life have been when I'm so sick that I'm like throwing up every few minutes and like running to the bathroom and I just want to die. I hate that. Hate that feeling.
It's awful.
Sabrina, diarrhea or puke?
I'm more of a puker, like my daughter. It's just what comes naturally to me.
Tone Zone?
Now, are we talking preference or what actually happens more?
What's your experience? Yeah.
What happens more?
What is the time-honored tradition of your life that you're a puker or a pooper, you know?
I think it's changed. I think when I was younger, I was more of a puker. And I think as I've gotten older, the diarrhea happens a lot more.
So easy.
Oh yeah.
Hold standby. I know. It's awful.
I could
No,
spend
it's awful.
so much more time talking about that.
Sorry,
but
guys. Sorry.
do you have no, I'm being sincere. You listen to the show.
yeah.
You know I love to talk about stuff like
God,
that. Do you guys have other products you'd like to mention? No pressure, but if you do, we'll take them.
Okay. Well, this is really, we're in an era of the wall sconce. Now, if
Yes.
you're not familiar with a wall sconce, it is like lighting that you screw into your wall. Okay. Usually it has a shade or not. It can be industrial, many different styles. I've installed ones that are hardwired, but I am loving light bulbs that are rechargeable or like a battery operated light, but these like little puck lights that you can kind of put into sconces, and then like you can replace the batteries, and like, because the reality is like I'm not putting up a wall sconce
Tony's
for
holding one up.
lighting. I'm putting it up aesthetically so that I have a little touch of brass in that corner. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I find that these rechargeable lights, I've used both. I've used ones that look like a light bulb, but you like charge it and then you put it back in. I've used ones that are like puck lights that you can like tap, and they have remotes. I just think it's genius. So you don't have to worry about like getting an electrician or figuring out how to do it yourself. So anyway, I love that. Any rechargeable light bulbs or things like that.
I need more of this in my life because I always like a sconce. But yeah, the
Isn't
idea
it
of having to
great?
get someone to run
Yeah.
the cords and stuff.
And you're not
Um,
really going to put it on, but that's not the point, you know? So
Right.
like, let's get it easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tony,
Can I tell
why?
you something funny?
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
the two things you've mentioned right here on my desk,
Hell yes.
and then is this the one?
Oh my goodness.
We're on the that's uncomfortably same. That's so great.
Literally
really
within
the
reach
IoT?
of me right now.
You have the IoT?
Yeah, I was looking at it because I couldn't remember what
You're
it
like,
was,
that's
and yeah,
what
it's an
because I
IoT.
thought this sounds like an Amazon like not real brand, but
I
like
think
the
I got
wire
it at
cutter was like it
Target.
has to be this. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. You can get it. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Amazing.
I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Is there
Cosign.
so for you? It's any kind of rechargeable light or battery powered light that you can
Okay.
go in a sconce, or is there a specific one you want to call out?
Okay. Are you familiar with picture lights that go
Mm.
above? They're like a long
Oh, yeah.
bar that goes
Yes.
like over like a painting on the wall.
Right. Yeah.
Those you can't buy like light bulbs for that specific thing. Like, you can buy those that are battery operated
Mhm.
and rechargeable. I think the more novel thing is like pick out the sconce you want. Make sure it has a shade where you're not going to see either like a puck light that you put inside.
Right.
A puck light meaning like a little disc that
Mhm.
lights up with a remote or by touching it. Or like if you get a rechargeable light bulb. I like to pick the sconce I want and then just don't hardwire it and find like an appropriately sized battery operated little number.
It's genius.
It's really changed my life.
I love that. And now where are you shopping for sconces?
I'm getting a lot of them on Amazon. I'm getting a lot of absolutely gorgeous ones. Okay. $50 for two. I don't
Amazing.
think that this is something anyone should be bragging about because then it's like, sounds like I'm just buying cheap stuff. But if I've changed the shades out and gotten
Mhm.
like a different shade for them and like that. I'll tell you, it's a lot. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of good stuff.
I need to go sconce shopping.
Yeah, I love sconces. I mean, I'm sure you've had this before. The only foundation worth speaking about till the rest of time is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk.
That is the one that I use as well. However, I was just watching a TikTok about NARS Radiant
Okay.
Light something,
Mm-hmm.
and the woman, gave it like a 9.5 out of 10. And I was like, should I be checking that one out too? But I think she was saying it was comparable to Giorgio Armani.
Okay. I've found that the NARS, it's like, it's not as buildable coverage. It's
Okay.
it's coverage.
Heavier.
Like with the Armani, like you could almost make it look like a tinted moisturizer.
Right, you
if
can make it
put
real
on a
sheer.
little, right? So like
Yeah.
I think the NARS, but again, like I haven't used NARS in at least like 5 or 6 years. So it could be a new thing that I don't know about. But I do think the Luminous Silk, and I've just been buying like the travel size one because I don't wear makeup. Like I almost never wear makeup unless I'm like today, so it's like I just buy the smaller ones and it's still $45. It's just
So expensive.
crazy.
What's your shade? Do you know?
Right now, I was at 5.25 for quite some time.
Mm.
I just changed to the 5.5.
Okay. I'm a 4.5. All right.
Are you at a 4.5? Okay,
I'm at a 4.5, but it's been a long time since I've been matched or anything. That's just I've just only ever been 4.5.
And I don't know if these are the correct ones, but I'm seeing a lot of gals I don't have TikTok, but I see people on Instagram, just blanketly buying the 5.5. And I don't know that that's everyone's shade.
Right.
I mean, it might not be my shade, by the way, but I think it's I don't know. Maybe it's too expensive for people to not go, just go to a Nordstrom or something and get matched because I think it's too hard. And even still, I end up using a concealer that's a little different color to different areas.
As you can see, my face is a different color than my neck, which I think is kind of a problem.
I always have to
I think everyone's is.
color my neck.
Really?
Though. It's getting redder. I'm getting red. I'm getting red chested. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As I age, I think the sun damage is coming out.
Maybe I just need to be pulling it down onto my neck. Then it's to removing it. There's just so much more surface area.
It's miserable. And don't you feel like you can't really kiss your kids as openly when you have makeup? When I have makeup, I'm I got to get this off if I'm going to see a baby or kiss someone or hug someone close. I don't know why. It feels like I'm dirty or something.
Yeah, well, I always if Daniel was ever wearing a white dress shirt or something, I always felt bad leaving an orange stain on him.
Oh my God, yes. 100%.
Andie and Sabrina, I could talk to you guys for hours. This has been delightful. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Please tell everyone where to find you and where to find your podcast and anything else you'd like to plug.
You can find our podcast, Pop Culture Moms, wherever you listen. Please, if you want to give it a review, if you want to rate it highly, that would be great. I'm at Andie M. Mitchell on Instagram.
And I'm at S. Kohlberg on Instagram.
Wonderful. And I'm going to be coming on Pop Culture Moms.
Yes,
I can't
wait.
Sabrina, tell her from the day you met with ABC Audio, have I not said Allison's name minimum 25 times?
Oh my God, that's so nice.
Minimum.
Yeah, you were top of the list right away. Yeah.
Aww.
We're so excited. And we're going to talk about the facts of life.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So
Tony, where might we find you?
If you're in LA, April 6th at the Lodge Room playing with Don't Stop or We'll Die. We'll just plug that again.
Wonderful. I think I might want to go to that.
Well, I'll send you a ticket link.
Great. And I'm on Patreon. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. All sorts of extra stuff over there. Andie's over there.
Oh God, I have been since day one, I want to say.
I know. Thank you so much for your support. That's so sweet. So patreon.com/Allison Rosen. You may have noticed a dearth of ads. I've noticed the dearth of ads. It's been kind of thin lately, but so I'm now relying on your direct support, everyone. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. If you're in a position to, subscribe over there. And if you do an annual subscription, you get 2 months free. And then also, rate, review, subscribe to the podcast. Follow me on social media at Allison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram, at the Allison Rosen on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube as well. Oh my gosh. Tony, I forgot.
I like your Substack. By the way.
My Substack. Thank you.
I like that.
Another way to directly support Substack. There's also a free option, AllisonRosen.substack.com. And you can get to all this stuff by going to Allison'sLinks.com. This was so much fun. Thank you. Listeners.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Allison Rosen